My name is Dr. Satnam. I was born in India, Himachal, Manali, but I reside in the UK, and my second base is Dubai. I work with the royal family here. I'm one of the politicians in the UK. I'm also a United Nations delegate. I'm working with more than 350 organizations worldwide. There's a lot of commercial work I do because I'm part of World Business Financial Investment Forum as an international partner firm in UK and Northern Ireland. Apart from that, I support my father, who was a humanitarian, Dr. Kajlal Devchakar, in all the humanitarian activities, and I travel around the world with his mission and vision. Passionate, humanitarian, compassionate, gracious, and abundant. If you ask me, I've had this habit to analyze this person myself, because I was not always Dr. Satnam Devchakar. I started as Seema Dang when I was born, and I got married as Seema Gujral, and then because I had this name, a very special name, Satnam, from when I was a nun for 9 years in the Gurdwaras, and that is where I was given this, I was bestowed this precious name, Satnam, which means name of Lord, the true name of Lord. And I was bestowed that by a very noble saint, Sant Brahmgyani Baba Jyoti Swarup Ji, Sant Santokh Singh Ji, in Fatehgarh Sahib in India, in Sarhand. And I wanted always to carry on that name. So in 2020, I officially recalled my name, and I was taking the name of Satnam because my father was called Devchakar, and Devchakar means servant of Lord, for all the good work that is done in the mountains. And that is a very pious land that Manali is called the land of deities, means all the gods reside there. So I wanted to name to resonate with my mission and my family values. And because my father called us Devchakar, I pronounced my name Satnam Devchakar. That is how Dr. Satnam Devchakar was. Dubai is my second home, I belong. Even though I live everywhere in the world, I feel I belong to this land. I love what the rulers of this nation do. I respect their mission in my heart. I mean, I have so much respect for them. The way they innovate the city, the way they build it, what they do for their people, what they do for others is exemplary. And I do have a lot of commercial work here, a lot of projects in infrastructure, smart cities, healthcare, agriculture, obviously being part of a lot of chambers of commerce in trade and exchange cultures. At the moment, I'm also part of the G20 delegation from India. I'm representing my country as India, not UK. So Mr. Modi, our very honorable Prime Minister in India, has been very kind. He's advanced my approach and recognized our family effort, and provided this beautiful platform for me to integrate a lot of different cultures and delegations and countries and advance them into India, into different sectors. So I'm very blessed like that, and I think that's what I'm trying to do right this time with my very, very adorable brother from another mother, Dr. Tatek, and a very close friend, a family member, a core business partner in our team. As a woman, we go through a lot. From the day we are born to the day we finally emit our life journey and we bid farewell. There's a lot we go through. I mean, there are certain things that every woman goes through, which we share. But apart from that, you have incidents, you have circumstances that shape up your persona. So I'm one of those. Unfortunately born in a very nice family, but still went through a lot of hardships and struggles. Why? It is a question mark. So I think there was a very wrong start to my life. When my mother was actually 6 months pregnant with myself, my father's brother's wife, which we call auntie, the elder one, she decided, I don't know how she decided, that my mother shouldn't have another baby. And she started giving her herbal drinks to get aborted this child. That was me. And I think because of that, I came born as a very unhealthy child. So from the right childhood, being academically very smart, being very extrovert, being always passionate about others, humanitarian, like all these traits were there. But health was a big critical issue. So every year I would face some terrorizing element on my health, and that was difficult. I think that was difficult. So the other good thing was, I was very ambitious. My father was doing very good work. He was founder of Kulu Shawls. He's one of the guys who actually started organic farming. God knows, 45 years ago. He started talking about global warming, climatic imbalance, because in that part of the world the resorts were chopped, resorts were being built because that place was evolving like a new tourist hub, and all the mountains were cut down. There was a lot of deforestation. There's a lot of things happening. So in his own time, he didn't know what to do and how to educate the rural society there. So all he did was he started to plant people tree. Now people tree in our culture is something we worship. And it's a tree that emits oxygen 24/7. And in Hindu mythology and that part of the world, we actually bow down to people tree and treat it as a deity. So he started planting those. He started doing Kanya Pujan, which is like little young girls. We actually worship them as deities. And I think that is how he started the campaign to save the plants, trees, and educate the rural society there. That part of the world at that time was suffering with very little crops because all they were relying on was the apple farms. And during hailstorms, they would lose that. So there was no other permanent source of income. So my father introduced a lot of new fruits there, a lot of other crops there, which with the knowledge that he had for the soil and the technologies that he used at that time. I mean, he's amazing. He's Prakash Lal Devchakar, and I'm so fortunate to be his daughter. And so, like I said, by the age of 13, because my father had these factories, for Kulu shawls, I ventured into export. So I started exporting the items. I started actually bringing them to my own college, because I was a school boarder. I was a school boarder, and then I was a college boarder as well in boarding. And I used to supply that to my college staff, my teachers, my professors, and they were shocked that a 13-year-old child was doing all that, and they commended me. Then a new turn in my life when I turned 16. My extended family, there's some people who were saints, and they had an institution, a gurdwara, a temple. I had a bent of mind because as a child, even when my father used to ask me, what do you want to become? I always said I want to be a Mother Teresa, because at that time I was very influenced with what Diana was doing, Princess Diana was doing, what Mother Teresa was doing, and I wanted to serve the world. I didn't know any other better way. And so I adopted my life as a nun, and I wore saffron clothes. I think for around 8-9 years I lived that life. And as a nun, I was laboriously working. So whether it was field work, whether it was dishes cleaning, sweeping, brooming, making rooms, tidying things, because our institution used to hold like 10-20,000 people coming in literally every day. So it was a lot of work. But I think eventually my health gave up because of all the laborious work. In 2002, that is when they bid farewell to me. Because in Indian mythology we call it Charte Suraj Ko Salam, which means you're only as good as you can until the sun shines. And after that, there's a period that no one wants to know you. So at that particular time, my parents, they rescued me back. And then I realized that I was just being slaved. And how it happens, my parents obviously wanted me to marry after that, and the saints decided with this guy who came in to bow down to the temple, they decided to choose him as my husband, and wow, another miracle. And that is how I found Calvin Gujral, who's my husband for 20 years now. And he had a spiritual background, so we made it good, and we traveled. He used to work in a lot of countries, so I stayed in more than 40 to 50 countries. That is how I evolved with all the cultures, the communities, and I wanted to spread that love, I guess. That was in my heart. We're a core of green technologies. We called IMIFIP, and we called Think Green Technologies. And our founder, Dr. Pierre Brunswick, he's amongst 0.1% of the population of the world. He's a top scientist. There's a lot of incredible work that he's put in. And also the guy responsible for all the chips in the phone. So with him, we have green technologies, like I said, Gravity Energy, Pelican family, medical technologies. So we normally invest in the infrastructure as well to entice the public, because these technologies can be quite expensive at times. So we not only fund the technology, like I said, we even invest in them and the infrastructure. So currently we've done a couple of projects across the world, and now I'm also getting involved with Hera Media, my very wonderful friend Mary. I'm trying to get her some projects for Hera City. But that is our core. On my husband's side, his background with HSBC and banking. There's a lot of banking and financial work we do with banking instruments. There is my background, obviously, to trade and trade exchange, forex, gold mining. I'm pretty much quite diverse in my sectors. So I pretty much touch a lot of sectors, working with the royal family, the private office of Sheikh Ahmed bin Faisal Al Qasimi, and the CEO, Dunstan Pereira. He's like my mentor. It's a family. And obviously, like I said, Tata is always around. With him, we have our media company, we have our entertainment company, we have construction company. We also are in I think safety and security. We're in healthcare with our very lovely partner now, Mr. Ashok Nanda from Bhopal. We're also expanding the vision of schools in IPS. We're taking them forward. It's a wonderful way of teaching. I mean, he's a pioneer in education, and the way he's transformed the educational society is unbelievable. So like him, we have another very amazing partners in quite diverse fields, and we're carrying all those projects forward. With my father, like I said, we are purely humanitarian. He doesn't get involved with commercials. He's only humanitarian. And with him, we're trying to do a lot of plantation. We're trying to conserve the planet. We're working on improving the sanitation. We're improving the lifestyle of, life in general for women, children. So whatever, like I said, our message to the world is, if I understand we can't do it all, but every drop counts towards the ocean. So even if we're droplets, please allow us to join into that wonderful ocean that you have. And maybe we can combine, collaborate, and bring in like a beautiful society. Because like I said, I only am all about my father and all about love. So my father has only few things that he taught me, and I think my life is pretty much sketched around it. So once he told me, drop loses itself to the ocean, to be the ocean itself. So that was something very striking, and it's difficult to understand, but then I think over a period of time I'm getting somewhere, I guess. But not until my father says I'm there, I'll be there. But anyway, and the other thing he taught me was me upside down, we. The whole problem disappears. So, like I said, his inspiration and guidance is the key in my life. I always told him, I said, Dad, I want to go and I want to change the world. And he said, no. No. It's never about changing the world. You just need to change yourself. You got to be a better version of your own self every other day, every other minute, every other moment. So I think that is what I imbibed in my life as a Bible, and that is all I try to work with. I've unfortunately not been able to, learn a lot of religious scriptures or go through things, but I understand it's all about love and humanity, because that's the only religion my parents taught me, humanity. And the only emotion and the only, God knows, the psychology, anything that they taught me was love. So I embrace what my family is about, the Ojaka family, and I hope to live by it, and I hope that lovely people like yourself will collaborate with us, and together I guess we can do some amazing work in the world. That's it. My very beautiful friend, Miss Namibia, finalist 2021. She's incredible, and look at how she's presenting it. I mean, I'm inspired by every story. So every time someone comes across, I'm inspired by the story, because we know what goes behind the closed doors. I mean, people might be breaking down. People might be just putting brave faces. Just one message: please be compassionate. Please do not, a tongue, your words, you so have to be careful, because there is no bone in the tongue, but it can break a person completely. So please watch it. Just be careful with people. That's all I'm trying to say. A lot of things are going around. There's a lot of pressures everywhere. Let's try to support each other collectively, because we can't just blame the governments and the institutions and the organizations and these corporates or these bureaucrats. It's an individual responsibility. Before you look for your rights, I guess you need to know your duties. That is all I want to say. I'm Dr. Satnam, and it's been a fabulous time with my beautiful, adorable Prisca. Thank you so much.